Have you ever mistaken a harmless insect for something dangerous? Maybe you've jumped at the sight of a bug that looked like a wasp, only to realize it couldn't sting at all. That moment of confusion is no accident. It's the result of a fascinating biological strategy called mimicry. In this video, we'll explore what mimicry really is, how it works, and why it plays such a powerful role in survival. And before we end, stay tuned, because we'll have 3 trivia questions to test how well you understood the concept of mimicry. So, what exactly is mimicry? At its core, mimicry is a survival strategy in which one organism evolves to resemble another organism, object, or signal in its environment. This resemblance isn't just about looks. It can involve behavior, sounds, movement, or even chemical signals. The main purpose of mimicry is simple: to increase an organism's chances of survival or reproduction. By appearing as something else, an organism can avoid predators, sneak up on prey, or gain some kind of advantage in its environment. One important thing to understand is that mimicry is not conscious imitation. Animals don't decide to copy others. Instead, mimicry develops over many generations through natural selection. Individuals that happen to resemble something more dangerous, more toxic, or less interesting to predators are more likely to survive and reproduce. Over time, those traits become more common, eventually forming what we recognize as mimicry. There are several types of mimicry, but the most well-known is Batesian mimicry. This occurs when a harmless species mimics a harmful or toxic one. A classic example is the hoverfly, which looks remarkably similar to a bee or wasp. Hoverflies can't sting, but predators often avoid them because they associate the yellow and black stripes with pain. The hoverfly benefits from this mistaken identity, while the predator avoids a perceived threat. Another major type is Müllerian mimicry, which involves 2 or more genuinely harmful species evolving to look alike. In this case, all species involved are dangerous or unpalatable, and their shared appearance helps predators learn faster. For example, several species of poisonous butterflies may share similar colors and patterns. When a predator has a bad experience with one, it learns to avoid all of them. This shared warning signal benefits everyone involved. There is also aggressive mimicry, which works in the opposite way. Instead of avoiding predators, organisms use mimicry to deceive their prey. Some predators resemble harmless species or objects to get close to their targets. A famous example is the anglerfish, which uses a glowing lure that looks like food to attract smaller fish. Once the prey comes close enough, the anglerfish strikes. In this case, mimicry becomes a tool for hunting rather than defense. Mimicry isn't limited to animals. Plants can also use mimicry to survive. Some orchids, for instance, mimic the appearance and scent of female insects. Male insects attempt to mate with the flower, unknowingly pollinating it in the process. This clever deception allows the plant to reproduce without offering nectar as a reward. What makes mimicry especially fascinating is how precise it can be. Predators are often very observant, so even small details like movement patterns or timing can matter. This is why mimicry continues to evolve. If predators become better at spotting fakes, mimics must improve their resemblance to survive. This creates an ongoing evolutionary arms race between predators and prey. In the end, mimicry reminds us that nature is full of illusions. What we see isn't always what we get, and survival often depends on the ability to deceive or be mistaken for something else. From insects and fish to plants and flowers, mimicry shows just how creative evolution can be. All right, let's see how much you learned. Here are 3 trivia questions. Ready? Let's get started. Question 1. What is the main purpose of mimicry in nature? A. To confuse scientists. B. To increase survival or reproduction. C. To look more attractive. D. To communicate with other species. Correct answer. B. To increase survival or reproduction. The primary function of mimicry is survival. Whether it's avoiding predators, attracting prey, or improving reproductive success, mimicry provides an advantage that helps an organism live long enough to pass on its genes. While looking attractive or confusing others might happen as a side effect, those are not the main evolutionary goals. Natural selection favors traits that directly or indirectly improve survival and reproduction, making option B the correct answer. Next question. Which type of mimicry involves a harmless species copying a harmful one? A. Müllerian mimicry. B. Aggressive mimicry. C. Batesian mimicry. D. Chemical mimicry. Correct answer. C. Batesian mimicry. Batesian mimicry specifically refers to situations where a harmless or non-toxic species mimics a harmful or toxic one. The key idea here is deception without danger. The mimic gains protection without actually being dangerous itself. In contrast, Müllerian mimicry involves multiple harmful species, and aggressive mimicry is used to capture prey. This makes Batesian mimicry the correct and most precise answer. Last question. Why is Müllerian mimicry beneficial to all species involved? A. It helps them hide completely. B. It makes them better hunters. C. It reinforces predator learning. D. It allows them to change color easily. Correct answer. C. It reinforces predator learning. In Müllerian mimicry, all species involved are genuinely harmful or unpalatable. By sharing similar warning colors or patterns, they make it easier for predators to learn and remember that these organisms should be avoided. A predator doesn't need repeated bad experiences with different species. One encounter is often enough. And that's the fascinating world of mimicry, where survival often depends on illusion, resemblance, and deception. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.